And again, I'm going to welcome you to the Formatting Excel Worksheets training, and we're going to skip over the chat since we just talked about it, and we're going to jump right in to the basics. So formatting cells is just affecting the cell or the cells, but it's not really affecting the contents. If you delete the contents of the cell, the formatting is still there. And that's very, very basic, but I wanted to get that very quickly out of the way. And I'm going to just show you by jumping into a cell and just showing you what I mean quickly. So let's say I type the number 10 into this cell, and then I decide to dress it up from the Home tab, and I use my accounting format. So I put a dollar sign, so I format it like money. I decide to use my shading button, and I decide to make that yellow. Maybe I decide to make the text blue. Whatever I'm doing, I'm just formatting this text right here, and I'm going to bold it. And all of that is in cell D2. You see, if I hit the delete key right now, I've only deleted the number 10. The formatting is still there. So if I type the number 25, the formatting is still there. And in order to clear the formatting, there are several different ways, but on the Home tab, the quickest way is in the editing group. There is a button that kind of looks like an eraser, and that is the clear button. I'm kind of pointing to it right now, so hopefully you're able to see where I am pointing. And if I click the down arrow, I get to decide, do I just want to clear the formats? Do I want to clear the contents? If I had any notes or comments or hyperlinks in there, I could clear all. If I just say clear formats, the number stays. So again, I wanted you to make sure that you understood that formatting cells is affecting the cell or the group of cells that you're in, and the formatting stays in the cell. And if you delete, it's only deleting the contents, and you'll be able to clear the formats. So check that out when you have a chance. Now, there are ways to format as you go. For example, you can enter in a dollar sign. For example, let me just jump back in, and I'll jump back right here. So as I mentioned, you put a dollar sign in, right? You format the cell. Well, let's say I go down to the next cell and I type 36 and hit enter, and I type 25 and hit enter, and 45 and hit enter. Notice the formatting is not continuing. Of course, you all know you can select the cells and hit the dollar sign. Well, we're going to talk about some easier ways and some other ways to format cells as you go. But you can type the dollar sign. You can also, if you're typing a fraction, start typing a 0, then put a space, and then the fraction. Let's take a look at that. So right now, if I type in this cell a 0, I put a space, and then I'll do 1/2 for a half, and I hit enter, and there will be the 1/2, and it'll be formatted quite nicely. So there are quick ways when you type to be able to format, and of course, typing in a % symbol yourself is a great way to add a % sign. So it's really up to you if you want to format as you go. My suggestion is type everything in plainly, then select it and format it using the ribbon, using the buttons that are available to you, instead of typing a dollar sign. But that's totally up to you, of course. So there are some built-in things in Excel that you can actually turn on so that when you are typing in a range of cells and you've typed in at least 3 or 4 rows of information, once you continue that, the formatting will be extended. Notice here it says in this second bullet, you can extend data range formats by default by going into File Options, Advanced, and Extend Data Range. So let's just jump back into Excel, and we'll talk about some of the options that we have. Let's just go back here. And let's say, for example, I continue to type here 78 and hit enter. Do you notice it already formatted? Let me try to go down to the next cell so that maybe you blinked. I'll do 92 and hit enter, and it continues the format. That's what I'm talking about here on this slide. How does that happen? And that's happening in the version, whatever version that you're in. It's typically 13 and above. This is going to happen because watch, File, and then I'm going to go to More and click on Options. I'm going to go to Advanced and then Extend Data Range Formats and Formulas. So what that means is when you have 3 to 5 lines of, let's say, numbers like this that were formatted, and then you continue to type, you don't have to format them because they are formatted automatically. And let's say, for example, I had some numbers here. Let's just copy this with the fill handle. And let's say I was going to use the auto sum and add these up. That's why I said to you, if you are a very beginner in Excel, maybe some of these things may not be familiar to you, but just stay with me. It's going to be helpful. And if I, for example, come down here and use the auto sum, now what happens when I come into this next line? Here's where the range extend happens. So the formatting is going to happen automatically, and I'm just going to take these and turn them blue for a moment so that you know that these are your totals. So watch, I'll put 45, I'll put 12. Notice they're formatted. Watch when I enter the number 12, automatically Excel will put the same formula that it put here. It's an automatic format. And so if you are using a version that's not doing that, go ahead into File Options, take a look at Advanced, and take a look, make sure this is turned on so that will easily happen in format for you. All right. Okay, now, did you know that you can select cells quickly and actually worksheets quickly and format very quickly? So I just wanted to put some of these things that you may not have known about, and I'll demonstrate them in a moment. But Control A to select all, or you can click the little triangle button. The triangle button is in the upper left-hand corner of the Excel spreadsheet. Let me just jump into an Excel spreadsheet here. Here is that triangle button right here. The problem with this button is when you click on it, it selects all 16,000 plus columns and all 1,048,000 plus rows. If you bold right now, or you underline, or you do any formatting right now, it is formatting every single cell. Now, if you have an old printer, and typically you don't have one anymore because of Windows 10 and Windows 11, you probably have a newer printer. But if you had Windows 7 in the past and you had an older printer, if you had formatted every cell, that printer would have seen the formats in those empty cells, even though you can't see them, and it would have spit out empty page after empty page after empty page of the printer. So don't use this button to format. Not a good idea. But it is a good idea to try to format rows and columns the way you would like. So if you take a look at my PowerPoint, if you hold down Control and Shift and hit the down arrow, that lets you select a range of cells vertically. And do you know what a range is? I'm assuming that you do, but let me explain that a range is a group of cells that are touching either horizontally or vertically. So if you hit and hold down Control Shift right or left arrow, you'll be able to select a range horizontally. And if you hold down Control Shift and then End, you'll be able to select the entire range that is available. So let's take a look. I'll use this spreadsheet and I'll hold down Control and Shift and I'm hitting the down arrow, and you notice this first column from the cell that I'm in down to the last cell. Once it sees an empty row, it stops, because I could easily now bold or italicize all of these quickly. Now, if I click in this cell and I hold down the Control Shift and hit the right arrow, it's going to go across. And then if I go back to this cell and do Control Shift and then tap the End key, which is typically in the middle keypad if you've got one. It will take the entire text on the spreadsheet. So no other empty cells, just the entire spreadsheet that you have, depending on where you started. All right, so you can format very easily. And then if you have a spreadsheet, a worksheet that has, look at these tabs across the bottom, or if I do this, File, New, Blank Workbook, and I add some sheets across the bottom. If I click on the first sheet, pull down the Shift key, and click on the last sheet, that means through. They all turn white. Anything that I do in the first sheet will also be done in the other sheet. So notice, watch. What if I decide to shade that cell? Because I know I'm going to be typing some information in there. What if I decide to shade these cells here with the shading button? What if I decide I know I'm going to be typing money in this column and I highlight it and put the $sign button? And then once I start typing, the $signs will show up. Everything I do in sheet 1 will happen in sheet 2. I just clicked on sheet 2. It's exactly the same. Sheet 3 is exactly the same. Sheet 4 is exactly the same. So let's go back to the PowerPoint. Notice this last bullet. Holding down the Shift for through or Control for and when you select your sheets. You see, you're just going to format, and all the sheets that you selected will be formatted. So this is a really nice way of taking any worksheet that has many sheets across the bottom. And let's say, for example, I want A1 or A2 or whatever cell. I'll click in A1. And I want anything that's in cell A1 and this pivot table and this database and this sheet 4 and any of these sheets across the bottom, I would click on the first sheet, hold down Shift, click on the last sheet, and whatever I do in these cells right here, I will put some yellow shading in there. Notice, it happened in this sheet, it happens in this sheet, it happens in any of the sheets that I have selected. So that's a great, quick, and easy way of selecting and formatting rows, columns, and sheets. So if you have a question along the way, stop me. Feel free to put the question into the chat. I am just going through these, and hopefully you're getting it, you're understanding it. You'll be able to watch it again, I hope, when I put this on the YouTube channel. But borders and shading are very important to making a spreadsheet look good. You've got your border button on the Home tab. You've got your shading button on the Home tab. You've got your a background that you can put a picture in the image, and that only is, it won't print, but it's visible for the screen. So these are just things, again, for formatting. And so I just wanted to make sure that you were able to do some borders and shading, and then that's manual. And then another choice for manual formatting is the cell styles. So I'd like to show you both of those, and I'm going to go to a spreadsheet that is called, I'll show it to you right here. We've been in it a few minutes ago. It's I'll make it a little bit bigger so you can all see. So it is the travel expenses, and I was just in it doing the Shift, Control Shift with the end and the Control Shift down and to the right. And I want you to notice some of these colors that I've already formatted. Well, how did I format these? I formatted these either. You can use right up here your border button, your shading button, and your text color button. Those are pretty familiar. What you also can do is use your cell style button. So your cell style button is in the styles group. I'm going to click on cell styles, and I want you to notice these colors are here, and you can also create a new cell style yourself and merge styles together. But I'm taking some of these, and notice calculation. Calculation is what I used to highlight these cells, because in these cells, if you look in the formula bar, there's a calculation using the auto sum. Now notice this cell is slightly different. And what did I do for this cell? I went to Cell Styles, and I decided to use what we call a linked cell. So if you have a linked cell, which is one cell looking at another cell and getting the answer from that other cell, I used this built-in color coding formatting choice under the Cell Styles button. So I used that formatting there. And so when you use a typical formatting throughout each one of your spreadsheets, people will be familiar with cell styles and know that good is green and bad is red and yellow is neutral. And you can use those things for different types of data. You can use heading styles. So I want you to notice right here, all of this line right here, if I went to Cell Styles, I used a heading style 1. So there are different types of built-in formats that you can use, and everyone should be familiar with them when you're using them within your spreadsheet, let's say in a team situation, and they'll know, oh, that's a linked cell, these are formulas, and these are headings. Not that anyone cares that these are headings, but it's just a consistent way to dress up your worksheet. And all you do is select, come up to Cell Styles. Again, you make a choice by choosing whichever one that you prefer here. And I might accent these with an orange because it kind of goes along with, I'm totaling up the expenses. So that orange kind of goes together. So that's a great way of manually, either on your own using borders and shading and colored text, or using cell styles. And if you wanted to learn a little bit more about cell styles, then you can certainly check. There's so many websites out there. Somebody says how to clear these styles. That's an excellent question. Let's go back and let's take a look. Just like clearing any other type of format. So let's say I highlight this text right here again, and I'm highlighting auto rental down to tips. I'm going to go on the Home tab. I'm going to go to the Clear button and do Clear Formats, and the formats will be cleared. Same thing on this line here. I'll highlight, and remember I used a cell style here, format, and I'm sorry, I can go to the right of format, I should say, find the clear and clear formats. Okay, I can always undo and redo. Excellent question. So this clear button is for any types of formats, no matter how they get into a cell, whether you do them manually or you use a built-in button. All right, another way of formatting a cell that always sometimes eludes people is typing in 2 lines of text into one cell. Now, you can always merge cells. You can always use wrap text, but let me just demonstrate this real quick. So I'm going to go back to, let's see, a spreadsheet that I'll have here. I'll go jump over here, and say, for example, you wanted to say, total taxes in a cell. So you click in the cell, you type the word total, do not hit enter, but hold down the Alt key and then hit enter. That keeps you in the cell, and then you type the next word, so I'll put taxes. You can hit Alt enter again if you needed to, a third line, and let's say 2021, and then finally hit enter, and notice how tall the row got, and it fits these 3 lines of text into one cell. So again, you click in a cell, you type the text. What you do is you hold down the Alt key, you hit the enter key, it keeps you in the cell, you type again, and then finally you hit enter. And so that's what's here in this particular slide. So you'll hold down the Alt and enter to create a new line as you type. Now you can also merge cells and wrap text. So I wanted to make sure that you understood those. Those are really nice choices as well. So let's take a look at just another spreadsheet. We're just playing around real quick. Say, for example, I'm going to have a worksheet and I'm going to be typing in some information, or I already have a worksheet that has a title here. And let's say it's my home budget 2021 that I was going to create. And I might highlight A1, B1, and C1. And maybe I'm going to be wanting this to be centered over A through F. Whatever you want, you highlight just one row at a time. So I'm highlighting each cell, A1, B1, C1, D1, and E1 and F1. And then I'm coming up to the Home tab and I'm using Merge and Center. And that'll merge all of these cells into one cell called A1. So B1 is gone, C1, D1, E1, and F1, they're all gone. They've all been merged into cell A1 and the text has been centered. And if you click the down arrow, you can always unmerge cells. That's a way to unmerge. So I can unmerge the cells or I can do merge and center. So that's a great way of merging cells together so that you can center some text. Another way is to word wrap your text. So here's your wrap text button right in the same alignment group on the Home tab as your merge and center. And when you choose your wrap text, what you do is you typically type first. So I'm going to type my results of the let's say monthly report is, and watch when I hit enter, the text is wrapped in that cell. Of course, it has to make the row really tall. You can always widen the column before you wrap the text. You can do that the opposite way. So I hit wrap text first and then I typed, or you can type. This is a test of wrap text and wrapping in a cell. Notice as I type, it just types everything that I just typed in cell E13, but it's looking like it's an F, G, H, and I, but it's all in E13. So I can take and click in cell E13 and I can do wrap text. And the minute I hit wrap text, it will wrap the text in that cell. But again, it makes the whole row that tall. So I have one more choice that I'd love to show you. If I really have text that I would like to wrap and show as a paragraph in Excel, this is what I do. Insert off of the ribbon, and you're going to see a group called text and find text box. I like to click in a text box. I'm going to get an upside down T. I'm going to click my mouse wherever I want that text box to be. And as I type, I'm just going to type and hit enter and type and hit enter and type and hit enter. And now this text is in a text box. And I can grab onto the border and move it anywhere I want. It's not in a cell, it's its own object. I'm also going to be able to click on the border of the text box and come on up to Shape Format. That appears up on the ribbon when I've put a text box on my worksheet. When I go to Shape Format, there is a Shape Fill button. So I'm able to choose a nice gray color or any type of color for the background as well. And now as I move this around, this is a text box. It is not affecting the column width of the row heights, and I can place it anywhere I want. So that's what I would suggest when you want to wrap text or when you want to type a paragraph in a cell. And I don't have it on this slide. Maybe I'll type it in a second. But again, that was insert text box. Now, most of these things are available in versions 13, 16, 19, so I don't think you'll have too much trouble. But if you're using the online app, you may find that some of these things are not available through Office 365, the free online app. But check that out depending on what version you have. You should be able to find it. All right, quick formatting. You may have text in a cell that you formatted, and you want to copy the formats. This is one way. There's several ways. So one of the ways is you can highlight with the fill handle and use the option called Fill with Formatting Only. So let me show you. I'm going to go to a worksheet, a workbook that says Formatting Worksheet. And let's see. I think I'll take this 880. Let's take a look. So again, see how it says select the cell that contains the formatting you want to copy? All right, so I'm going to go and format this. Let me format. I'll do some yellow shading. I'll make the text larger. I'll do some, we'll make red lettering. I know red means negative. And then I'm going to double click, and what it automatically did is it formatted all the way down to the last cell. Now, this formula here is looking at a particular cell in the database. Let me just hit undo. I formatted this cell. You can double click or you can drag. Now watch what happens when you drag. I might as well double click if you ask me, but if you drag, you will see it formatted automatically. You may also see a small button that pops up that allows you to choose fill formatting depending on the version that you have. So if you have a version like I have that, and I'm using 16, that'll automatically with the fill handle copies the format, great. If not, you'll see the little box popping up where you'll choose fill formatting only. All right, let me just undo that so that we can move on to other things. Now you can also copy formats with your format painter and with your paste special. So let me make sure that you understand this as well. All right, everybody, I'm going to go back and say this is formatted right here, this cell right here, and I want to copy that format. Well, one of the ways is I can right click. I just showed you the quickest way, by the way, but you can right click and you can do copy. And then let's say you highlight where you want to put the formats, and you right click and you do paste. Now look at these buttons. Paste, paste values, paste formulas, transpose, paste formatting. So you don't want the number 880 in the cell, but you want the formats from that cell. So when I click on formatting, all of the cells that I highlighted, and when I type in them, you will see that those formats are now copied here. All right. Let's hit undo a couple of times. Again, you take and you format a cell. You right click and you copy. That's nothing new, right? You go and highlight any group of cells you want. You right click inside the cells that are highlighted, and you'll find the little button here. You don't have to go to paste special, but you can, because what typically on the version that you have is Excel will put a little paintbrush, a little button here that says paste what? Paste just the formats. So when you click in the cells and you start typing, those formats are showing up. Pretty good? Anybody use these already? I hope so. So these are just quick ways. Now that was pasting the formatting to a range of cells. What if you had this? Let's go back to Excel. I'm just going to clear all the contents and the formats, clear all here. And so what if I wanted this format to go, let's say here and here? What I could do is I could highlight the cell and use the Format Painter. Format Painter is in Microsoft Word, in Excel, and PowerPoint, and in Outlook as well. So the Format Painter, when I click on it, and I like to double click because I'm going to use the Format Painter several times. So when you double click, you're able to use it several times in several cells. What if I decide that I want this number and this number and this number and this number all to be formatted that same way? You see, I have a little paintbrush that I'm working with because I double clicked on the Format Painter. It looked at the formats that were in this cell, and it allows me to go and format all these cells in that way. Then I click or hit escape, click to shut it off or hit escape. So try the Format Painter. I'm going to undo all these fun things that we just did, and just again use that Format Painter to copy formats. And that's what this presentation slide deck is about. All right, here we go. Okay, flash fill is a fun way of also formatting. Did you know that there were so many ways to format? Is any of you going, wow, I didn't know this? Or did you know all of this already? Tell me in the chat. I feel like I'm alone here this afternoon. And thank you. Somebody says in all caps, yes, I am saying that. That's great. Thank you. So I'm glad. I hope you know that there are many, many ways. And why do I show you so many ways? It's so that you can take the way that resonates best with you or what you need to use. And so again, you'll get this PowerPoint presentation at the end. You can always reference it. Takes a while. Every once in a while, you may need to do something like this, and you need something to reference. So one of the things is that if you have, for example, take a look at these columns of information here. So say you have somebody's first name, middle name, and last name, and then you type their full name here. You'd want to flash fill the rest of the column. So let me show you what I mean. We're going to go to formatting. Let's see, flash fill. Let me see if I can find that. Here it is. So here's my example. So I already have Joseph Paul Conti, right? I had typed in his first, last, and middle name. Then I typed it all in one cell. For whatever reason, that's what I needed. And I would like to flash fill. So in the Data tab, off of the ribbon, you will find in the Data Tools, you will find, let's see if I can find this button here for you. Here it is right here called Flash Fill. It has a little like lightning bolt on it. Watch when I click on Flash Fill. It automatically, did you see that? I hope you didn't blink. It automatically filled in based on the first cell. Let me hit undo. The first cell, I typed in Joseph Paul Conti. It's referencing these three cells to the left. When I hit in Flash Fill, it looks to every single line and says, oh, well, they put the first name, the last name, and the first name, the middle, and the last. So that's what I'll do for them when they hit Flash Fill. And that is a great tool to fill in. And this is just one example that the Flash Fill will work. So check it out. It is a very fun way of filling in lots of big data that you have. So again, this example shows you what we did, and this is where you would click and hit Flash Fill. All right, I love conditional formatting. Conditional formatting is where you can either use rules that are already come with the conditional formatting piece of this, or you can make up your own rules. So for example, let's take a look at this particular spreadsheet. And I try to show you different spreadsheets so that you would be very comfortable in looking at some of these, and just again for variety. And we are looking right now at the conditional formatting travel expenses. Here it is. There we go. And this particular spreadsheet, notice we are going to do conditional formatting. So notice it says highlight your cells. then go home and click on conditional formatting, and you can use the built-ins or choose a new rule. All right? Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. All right. Oop, that's the wrong one. Hold on a second. There we go. So, say for example, I would like to take and highlight all these numbers, and I would like to find any expenses that are greater than 500. So I go to conditional formatting off of the home tab, and I can use the built-in rules. Highlight cell rules greater than. When I click on greater than, I can say greater than 500 by typing in 500, and I can decide what color I would like to use, or borders or shading. Okay, so I'll just, the light red fill with the dark red text is the default. That'll be fine. I click OK, and there are all of the expenses that are greater than 500. And why would I need to know that? Maybe the expenses, I can't just pay somebody these expenses. This is someone's expense report for their travel, and anything over 500 needs managerial approval. So now quickly I get to see which of these expenses I need managerial approval for. So I'm just going to hit undo. Oops, sorry about that. Let's just go back to the formatting. Oops, here we go. I've got so many that I want to show you. So I just hit undo so that it would take away the formatting so I could show you more. Let's say I was trying to find, again, greater than numbers, less than numbers, numbers that are between. Now this could be dates. These could be texts that are equal to, or numbers that are equal to, or text that contains, or dates that occur, or duplicate values, or more. So watch when I come down to new rule. Notice, format all cells based on their values. So I could find values that are between, so a minimum to a maximum, and choose a different color. Format cells that contain, between, or just typing text. Format only the top or bottom ranked values. Format only values that are above or below average. So if I choose above, and then I go here to format, and I choose a color, so I'll do a fill and choose a very light blue and click OK, and click OK again. Look at the numbers that are above average. Well, how did Excel get this average? Oh, it took all those numbers, added them up, divided by the number of numbers that are there, and then figured out based on all the numbers where they fall in. That took me manually a long time to do. Conditional formatting will do it for you just like that. So again, conditional formatting is a great way to find and color code different, either the top 10 items, the top percent, the bottom percent. You can also use color scales and icon sets, and again, create rules. And these rules, use a formula to determine which cells to format, and you can decide what formula to use right here. There are so many things that you can do with conditional formatting. My favorite, again, is to highlight the cells and go to conditional formatting. Use the built-in tool here. Let's say I'm looking for something that equals, and let's say I'm looking for something that equals 550, and I click OK. Let's do it again. Let's do highlight cells that are equal to, and let's do 650. And let's change that to red. And so again, you'll see the color coding in your particular spreadsheet, and you'll know what you've color coded and what means what. So you can create a little scale over here on the right hand side if you needed to have other people looking at your spreadsheet and understand what the colors actually mean as well. Anyone out there ever use conditional formatting? And there's more information. I've given you another website that you can jump into. All right. Anybody use? No conditional formatting? Oh, it's a wonderful choice. And it depends on, for example, let's say you're using a very big spreadsheet. Let's see, I have a database here somewhere. Let me take a look. Here's a database, and you're looking for, just, and let's say it's sorted by cost. So I'll go up to data and I will sort it in ascending by cost. And so now you're like, oh, I need to see where all the particular sales or all the Apple AirPods that were sold. So again, you can click in the first cell. You can do Control Shift and End, and the whole thing is selected. You can then go home, conditional formatting. Let's say I'm looking for text that contains Apple AirPod. And I click OK, and now I get to see where the Apple AirPods are within this particular very large group of data. Okay? And the formatting can be cleared, but it's conditional formatting. All right, excellent. If there's anything that you're going to try after this training, I would highly recommend trying conditional formatting and seeing all of the choices there. And then you know what type of data you would be using. Let's say what type of data you used in your last job, or what type of data you're hoping to use in your next job. Maybe creating a spreadsheet and trying some of these. And it just will resonate with you when you build your own spreadsheets with your own type of data that you would like to be working on. All right. There are many times where I've typed in something similar to this. So the first and last name in one cell, and then I'd really like them to be in two cells. So this is called text to columns. And notice there are 6 steps, but it's very, very easy. So let me find a spreadsheet that will demonstrate this. Here it is, text to columns. So again, I have the first and last names in this one cell each, and I'd like them to be separated into first and last. So I created a last name field. Now, notice the directions, they're very easy. Select the cell or column that contains the text you want to split. Then go to Data, Text to Columns. So again, you highlight the cells that you want to split. You come on up to Data. And here's the button way over here in the Data Tools group called Text to Columns. You click on that, and you've got some questions that you need to answer. So delimited, and then I just want a space, and then I'm going to use general, and then click finish. And notice exactly what it did. Did you blink? I hope not. Notice it took Conti and Smith and Jones and Rawlings and Flynn and Marsh and Horgan and moved them all over to the cell to the right. So you need to have an empty column to the right of your text that you are splitting up. So I'm going to hit undo. These were all typed in. All I did was data, text to columns, delimited. I don't need tabs. I'm just going to use a space. General, format, hit finish. There it is. Really a very nice tool. All right, how about dates? How many of you use dates? So someone says if you clear formatting with the eraser tool, why doesn't it clear all the formatting that may have already been built into it? I am not sure about that question that you're asking. Can you give me a little bit more information? That'll be great, and then I can help you out. All right, I'm going to go back to the formatting worksheet that has a date column right here. Do you see this date column? All right, do you know anything about dates? What do I mean by that? Do you know that dates are actually numbers behind this date? Watch when I hit the number button up here. What does that mean? That means there are 36,653 days since when? Since the first day of 1900. So Excel counts the number of days gone by since 1900. And when you put a date in a cell, there's actually a value behind it that you can't see. Okay? And it's the number of days gone by. Why? Because you can add, subtract, multiply, and divide dates. But right now, we're working on formatting. That was just good information to know, because sometimes you might put a date in, 4/25/21, and hit enter, and it comes out looking like a date. But sometimes it doesn't. It comes out looking like a number. And that number, just know you did nothing wrong. That number is the number of days gone by since 1900, and you want to format it to look like a date. And it's very simple. In the Home tab, in the number group, you just come up and click this down arrow. You could have a long date, and it'll tell you the day of the week that April 25th, 2021 was. Or you could click the down arrow and use the short date. Or you could click the down arrow, come on down to more number formats. And when you come down to more number formats, notice on the left-hand side, Excel recognizes that this is a date, and it uses March 14th, 2012 as examples, so I might click here and click OK. Now I'm not going to get March 14th. I'm going to get April 25th in that format. Click the down arrow, go to more number formats. Excel knows this is a date. Look at the different types of formats. Again, it uses March 14th, 2012 as an example to show you how a date would look. You click OK and it formats the date. But just knowing that every date is really the number of days gone by since 1900. And where is that number? It's behind here. You don't see it because you formatted this as a date. But every once in a while, you are seeing these numbers and you're like, wait a minute, I thought I was doing dates. You just click the down arrow and you decide what type of date to show, what type of format to show for the date. All right, let's take a look in the chat. Let's see. So maybe a Excel spreadsheet has a lot of formatting and you want to clear the formatting, you'll have to highlight the cells. So someone is saying, what if there are formats I don't want to clear? Well, you don't highlight those cells. So don't highlight the entire worksheet and do clear formats. Just highlight the cells or the rows or the columns that you want to clear the formats on, if I understood that right. I think that is the right answer for you. All right. One of the hardest things is knowing how simple it is to format zip codes and social security numbers. Let me show you real quick. So I have, let's see, where is that? There we go. So I have here zip codes, and I actually typed in a zip code. So I'll type it in for you, 01801. Watch when I hit enter. What does it always do? It drops off the beginning 0, right? All right. And when I put in social security numbers, I would like them formatted. Oh, it's really easy. You highlight your text, come on up to the Home tab, the number group, you click the down arrow at the top and you go down to more number formats and you choose special, because what's built into special are zip codes, and then zip codes with 4 digits as well, phone numbers and social security numbers. So if I click on zip code and click OK, the preceding zeros pop up. If I highlight this column and I go to general at the top here that had the word general there, more number formats, but where are you going? Special, and choose social security and click OK and it formats it. And even if I had phone numbers, right? Okay. Sorry, can't type today. And I typed in 781-932-5500 and entered that in. I'd like it to look like a phone number. So I highlight the cells that I'm going to be typing in phone numbers as well. And again, more number formats, special, phone number. I click OK, and it formats it as a phone number. The formatting, though, is where it's only in the cell. Look in the formula bar. Here's the number I typed in. Look at Social Security. There's the number. Look at the zip code. There's the number. And it just formats it as a zip, a social, and a phone. All right. So again, that can drive people crazy. And I hope in the future you'll know that under your format cells, there is a choosing special. So someone asked, can you calculate timeframes between dates? I'm just going to give you a quick yes to that. And look that up, Google that, because you can add, subtract, multiply, divide dates. You can also use in Excel real quick. I'm going to just give you a heads up. You can always go to formulas, date and time, and there are built-in formulas, especially network days lets you see numbers of days between two dates. So date and time under formulas, network days is one of the ones that is used frequently. And again, you can add, subtract, multiply dates. So, all right, if you ever needed to hide your zeros, you can certainly hide your zeros and format your zeros as, let's say, non-applicable or NA. So when you do special formatting like hiding zeros or hiding cell content, and creating custom formats so that you'll have some readable text instead of numbers. These three sheets or slides in this presentation go together. And because time is ticking away, I just want to show you very quickly that notice it says general. Let me just point my mouse here. Semicolon general, semicolon general, and then click OK. Why? To hide zeros. Or if you want zeros to be formatted with, let's say, for example, some text that you put in parentheses, in quotes, you would do general, semicolon, put the word in quotes, semicolon, general. Where would you do this? Well, notice on the Home tab, on the number format button, you're going to go to more number formats and custom. So let me show you what you would do. So I'm going to go to conditional formatting again. And here are the zeros. When I go home, click the down arrow in the number group, go down to more number formats, go to custom on the left. Scroll up, go to this word general. And when you see general, this is where you're typing in this data right here. So general, semicolon, general, two semicolons, general. So let's take a look. Let's go back. So general, semicolon, general, two semicolons, general. I think I've got that right. And then you click OK, and it hides the zeros. Do you see that the zeros are hidden? But I want you to notice when I click in a cell, I will be able to see that the zero is actually in there. But these cells are hidden. Now, say, for example, I wanted, instead of the zeros hidden, I wanted the text to say something in the cell. And this is where I could type in that, where, again, take a look. You can highlight your cells in the number group, go to more number formats after you click the down arrow and go to custom. In the general field, you're able to use these formats if you'd like as well. So some of these are built in and you'll find some quick ways to format. But again, you can always type in what you want that to be formatted as. And I would demonstrate it, but our time is up. I don't know where it all goes. It goes so fast. So I wanted you to see what else you're going to get. Hiding zeros, hiding cells, doing custom formats. If you work with tables and databases, I wanted you to see that table styles are available. If you use charts, chart styles are available. If you use pivot table styles are available. So just follow the instructions. Also, you can format text with spark lines, which means you can use your quick analysis tool. If you take the data analysis Excel training at the end of this month, then I will show you the spark lines once again. But there are times where you would want to take and put trend lines into an empty cell based on the data. In this case, it's January through June. And you could put a trend line in very easily. I also wanted to give you some information that there's a show hide button to show and hide formulas. And this is, I feel like, such a great tool. And let me just go real quick to show you. So you see a spreadsheet, right? If I go to the Formulas tab, before I hit the Show Formulas button right here, I want you to notice these are actually formulas, these are formulas, and these are formulas. How do I know that? Well, because I created this spreadsheet, and if I click in a cell, I can look in the formula bar and see the formula. But if I click on Show Formulas, all the formulas in this particular spreadsheet will be visible for me to see how someone created and got the answer and what formula they used. So I can click on Show Formula. A lot of the times I tell people to print it like this so that you can reference this the next time they're going to be doing this particular type of report, let's say. And then this is a toggle button. You can click on Show Formulas and it puts, again, the formulas hidden back into the cells. Show the formulas, please. And don't show the formulas until I click in a cell and look in the formula bar. I think that's such an excellent tool, such an easy tool to use. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that it was available. Not everybody uses pivot tables, not everybody uses charts and tables. That's why I just quickly skipped over those, but you're going to get those when I do the file transfer right now. I'll do that. You can always format pictures in a cell, and so that's always hard to do. So I wanted to put the instructions in so that you would know when you move a cell, that picture will move with it. And so that's just something kind of fun. And not everybody uses pictures in Excel, but sometimes you need them, and so they can be frustrating. So I wanted to give you the instructions for that as well. All right, everybody. I think I'm going to have to do the next time I teach this, make this an hour and a half, which I'm happy to do. This was the first time that we did the new Excel formatting worksheets, and I wasn't sure how much you were interested or how much I wanted to go over so many different things and that you would want to know them. So next time it'll be an hour and a half. So I'll try it again next month, but I'll put this on the YouTube channel as well. But I just want you to know that we're having a job fair on the 14th. And more importantly, do you know how to maneuver a virtual job fair? Go ahead and sign up for Friday, this Friday, December 10th, how to be successful at a job fair. And this is all talking about a virtual job fair, which on the 14th that is. And so go ahead and look on our website. Here is our website for our calendar. And you can also go on our main home website and find the job fair information. If you're looking for more Excel, well, we've got Excel Basics January 4th, but let's back up to December 30th. If you're looking for more advanced tools, Excel data analysis tools I'm going to be going over, and that's when I'll do the spark lines once again as well. So go ahead and join. Look at all the other trainings that we are giving out this month. Nancy, Brendan, and myself, Jan, we are happy to have you all in our training. So sign up for all of them. You might as remember, knowledge is power, and you want that power and that knowledge to go with you in your new next adventure when you get that new job. So we'd love to see you in all these trainings. So right now, I'm going to be able to do a file transfer. And that file transfer is going to allow me to take this file and send it right to your computer. Now, you have to do a few little things in order to get it, but just in case you can't stay, or just in case you are on a phone or a tablet and you're not able to download, I'm just putting my email into the chat for you right now. And all you have to do is email me, ask me for the formatting Excel presentation, and I'll be glad to send that to you. So thank you again for joining. Stick around. I am going to do the file transfer right now.